Hey, what's up people? It's Rohan, your personal trainer here. Today I'm going to be running through the 5 most common mistakes I see people make when it comes to the squat. Alright, number 1, the most common mistake I see people make in the squat is that their knees cave in. So in a squat, they'll come into it, and their knees will just come in, fall inwards, and they'll kind of struggle their way out of it. Again. Now that the knees caving in leaves your knees in a very vulnerable position, you want those knees to be trailing over the feet and not collapsing inwards, okay? It's usually an issue with the glutes not firing, the glutes not pulling the knees out. Remember, the knee's just a hinge, right? So it doesn't do any of that sideways motion. It's usually either the glutes or the ankles that are to blame with any of these squat mistakes. Now, something you can do to fix those knees caving in is to just mentally focus on keep them over the feet or keep pushing them outwards, or you can take a band, wrap it around your knees and repeat the squat. So you'd be taking a band, wrap it around the knees, just above the knees, and then we're just going to keep pushing those knees against the band. It's just going to activate the glutes. Just going to help you to realize where that movement's coming from. It's also going to strengthen that muscle a little bit more. Next time it's going to be easier to keep those knees trailing over the feet, not letting them cave in. All right, the second most common mistake I see people make is that their lower back rounds at the bottom of the squat, okay? So they relax at the bottom of the squat. So otherwise the squat's fine, but they're coming down way too low and relaxing right here and then trying to get back into it. Again, coming down way too low, the lower back rounds and then coming back into it. So what you really want to do is keep that lower back tight. Just go as low as you can while keeping that lower back tight. Now, when you let your lower back round like that at the base of the squat, it takes your spine out of that supporting position, okay? Imagine a tree, a big heavy tree, and at the base of it there's a bend. There's gonna be so much stress on that bend. The tree might get bigger and stronger, but we don't, not with our spine in that vulnerable position all the time. So for now, it might be okay if you're doing bodyweight squats, if you're doing lightweight squats. But once you start adding heavy load onto the spine and putting it into that compromised position, it does create injuries pretty quickly, especially over time if you do it consistently. So just work on that now while you have the chance. Try to focus on keeping the core tight, try to focus on keeping the lower back tight. Just go as low as you can. You will feel it relaxing. That's too low. So stay above that point, come right back. All right, mistake number 3 is the opposite of what we just had with people going too low and relaxing. This is people not going low enough, not going deep enough into the squat. So it might be like a half squat. So I'll demonstrate that. So they're just coming down to around here and then coming right back up. Now, obviously, the lower you get into that squat, the more muscles is going to recruit and the more gains you're going to get over time. Now, if this is an issue for you, if you can't get deep into that squat, just work on your mobility, work on your form. It will come over time. It does take a while. A lot of people, it's not natural to get so deep into that squat, but it will become natural. And with increased range of motion, you'll get increased muscle recruitment and you'll get increased gains from that. All right, mistake number 4 that I see a lot of people make is that the knees come way too far forward. So it's a myth that the knees aren't allowed to go over. I remember hearing that they aren't allowed to go over the shoelaces, but that's a myth. The knees can definitely come forward, but with some people they come forward way too far, and that means their quads are taking over completely, not completely, but the glutes are mostly out of it. So it's a quad dominant movement at that point when the knees come that far forward. So to demonstrate, now, if your knees come that far forward in a squat, you're mistaking where the squat actually starts. So we're starting with the glutes or the butt pushing back. Okay, so it starts there, push back, and then come down into it. So you can just practice that, practice form. Starting with the knees forward puts a bad stress on the knees, on all the joints in the lower body. Good cue for that is just sit back. Try to imagine sitting back first and then coming down rather than letting the knees bend. It takes so much of the glute out of it, and it puts a bad stress on the knees too that we don't want. All right, mistake number 5, the final mistake that I see a lot of people make is that they squat in shoes, specifically shoes that are not flat. Okay, ideally, if you can, you would want to squat barefoot. Being barefoot supports the spine and the skeleton the best. That's the way we're built, that's the way we're designed. If you need to have shoes on because you're going to a gym or you're in public or whatever, try to find the flattest shoes you can so that it doesn't raise the heel, it doesn't put an artificial arch in the foot. You want to go as close to barefoot as you can. It really does add a lot of stability to the squat. It engages those foot muscles that are there for balance, and some shoes I've seen really mess people up. So either a flat shoe or ideally barefoot, that would be the best. All right, and there you have it. That was your 5 most common mistakes that I've seen people make when it comes to the squat. If you liked the video, give it a like, maybe share it with someone who makes a lot of these mistakes, and I'll see you in the next one.